So welcome, my name's Sheila Massant, and I'm delighted to be here with my two good friends, Lachman and Jacquie Forde. And these delightful ladies were with us last year at Viva 2015, and really happy that they both accepted our invite to come back and be with us for Viva 2016 in November. And what we wanted to do with these, we're calling these TAPAS for 2016, and what they're about is giving people a feel of what's available at Viva. Now, Viva's all about celebrating life. Recently I've seen it as I feel like it's a playground. It's a playground where people can come and just play and have a good time, and along the way they're going to pick some stuff up. They're going to learn some stuff just like kids do when they go climbing on the climbing frame or swinging on the swings or whatever. There's always more they can learn, but they don't know they're learning. And I think that's something that happens at Viva particularly. So thank you, ladies, for being with us today. Want to just throw a couple of questions out there to help you sort of share with us what your latest insights are, so people can get a sense of who you are, how you share, and that sort of thing. So the first question is, so we're talking about business particularly today, the topic of business. So I'd love to know and hear what's been a major change for you as you've experienced coming up across the understanding of the three principles, or you're deepening more because you've both been around this for quite a while. So it's like you know, as your understanding deepens, what have been the major changes for you, or a major change? Do you want to take that first, Jacquie?
Yeah, sure. The minute you said that we've been around this for a while, what sprang to my mind was the two hags of the three principles.
Speak for yourself, I think Sue's saying.
First of all, I want to say thank you very much for inviting me to Viva again, and also thank you so much for this little tapas with my lovely friend Sue. I was delighted to be able to share with Sue again, because we did that so beautifully last year at Viva and had such a lovely time, and I know that a lot of people heard quite a lot from the discussion we had. The topic that Sheila has asked Sue and I to speak on today is business, and it always surprises me how people think business is something that's separate from ourselves. You know, we can have life, but then there's business, as though it's some kind of dark entity that exists out with our physical and spiritual being. And what I've seen lately is that I really didn't know what my businesses were about until I came across this understanding, and it took its time revealing itself to me. And in that time that it took, which was probably about 1.5 to 2 years, of it revealing itself to me, I was so busy-minded trying to figure out what the businesses were doing that I didn't see it. And I was actually doing what the businesses were meant to be doing without recognising that that's what they were. And in seeing that, I saw that business to me is just play. It's fun. It's exciting. I get to be creative. I get to collaborate with people. I get to share this understanding at levels from, you know, sort of government leaders all the way to sort of community groups. And I love that, because there's no stress in sharing this understanding, because when you speak from your heart about the experiences that you've had or your clients have had, people can't help but be touched by what they hear and what they feel. And I used to always think that, you know, wisdom and my gut instinct always had my back whilst I was doing all of these things. But I saw probably about a couple of months ago that it's nothing to do with wisdom having my back. Wisdom flows through me as it flows through each and all of us. And it doesn't have to sit behind our backs. Because with that flow that flows through us, the universal intelligence of life, we have and can see and can hear what it is we need to see at any given moment in time, either for our lives or for our businesses. And in having that gift of knowing that it's not something that's behind me that I can't see, or something that only ever shows up when I think I'm in trouble. This wisdom that flows through me as life flows through me is there no matter what I'm doing, and brings to me what I need in any given moment in time. And knowing that has allowed me to be even more relaxed than I was previously about my businesses, about how I earn my living. And I've loved that, Sheila, because what that has done for me is it's made me so much stronger. Stronger from the perspective that I'm firmer in what I will and I won't tolerate. I am stronger in whether I feel something is right to do or it's not right to do. And then I don't judge myself afterwards for the decision that I've made. It's over, it's done, it's finished. And it's such a clean way to do business. Because not only are you entering into a discussion with nothing on it, if something works from it, fantastic. If it doesn't, that's okay too. But also realising that in that communication that you're having, coming from a place of flow, of total honesty, transparency and authenticity, I'm only ever going to speak truth. And sometimes that truth catches me out, but I know that it is absolute truth. This morning, for example, I was looking, someone had asked me to do an event with them in a different country, and about 4 weeks ago, I thought, yep, that's something I'd love to do. But nothing had happened in the 4 weeks since we'd put the dates in our diaries. And when I had a discussion with the person this morning, it became even more evident that this person wasn't ready. They weren't ready to put the ideas or the commitment to make this thing happen. And I just said, I'm just going to take it out of my diary, cover the flights that I've paid for, and then that's it. It's fine. This doesn't mean to say that in the future we won't work together. But what this says to me is, I'm going to follow the feeling that I've got right now. And that feeling is a feeling of certainty that this isn't the right time for you. I think that what you have to do is concentrate on discovering who you are first before you start to collaborate with other people, rather than try to collaborate with other people and find who you are. And I loved that. I loved the ability to be able to say that, have nothing on it, and say it in such a way that the other person didn't have anything on it either. Now, previously I would have judged myself for being bullshit, and, sort of all sorts of other judgments about, did I jump in too quickly? Should I have given the person another, some more time? But there was something about it that while we were speaking, I thought, no, that's it. And it wasn't from a place of anger. It wasn't from a place of disappointment. It was just from this place of hearing my wisdom pop up and going, yeah, it's not right. Let it go. Just as you would let go of something like a hot potato, it's kind of like, let it go. Not saying this was a hot potato, but, it's just like, when to let go of something. And because of that, I've recently, I'm in the process of getting rid of one of my businesses, and I'm simplifying everything, making it easier to manage, because I now know how I'm meant to move forward in the future. For now, knowing that as wisdom flows through me, and life flows through me, that'll change again. And that's okay. So I guess from a business perspective, that's kind of where I'm coming from at the moment, is I'm becoming more tenacious than I've ever been in my life, which is probably frightening. But I love that, because it's been done from a place of love and a place of kindness to myself as well as other people, rather than it being some big drama that's unfolding because something isn't working out the way that I wanted it to.
You know what I heard, and what, not in the words, there wasn't anything in the words, I don't think, though there may have been, but what I'm picking up is the sense of clarity that you've got. That's there. It's just that sense of real knowing and clarity. That's the feeling that I'm picking up from you, Jacquie. That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. That's lovely. So, over to Sue. Miss Sue.
Well, I didn't want it to finish, Jacquie. I was like listening very, very deeply to you, because it was very lovely. Thank you. Yeah, I'm the second hag, by the way, if that's what we are. So, you know, it's funny. I love what you said, Jacquie, because it just, I guess it sort of reminded a little bit of what I've been going through. And I felt like I've been in a huge fog for quite a few months. And I thought I turned my phone off. And it's been very interesting for me because I saw everything as very, very complicated. I had also started a business with one name, and then started something else with another name. And I, first of all, concentrated on one, and then I went across and concentrated on another. And I didn't know where I was. I was very confused, basically. And I went through a whole period of time, and crying on Jackie's shoulder, basically, and probably driving you mad as well, Sheila, along the way. And it's been very interesting to me. So because what you said, Jacquie, about the simplicity, making things simpler and having more clarity, is really what started for me to bring me out of where I was. So that's been fascinating, and along the way I have noticed that I've become much more creative, and also I realized what I can do and what I'm good at and what I'm not, and that has been like really freeing. So I know that I can't do, I mean, maybe I could, but I would have to spend hours and hours on some of the stuff, and I just realized that I couldn't deal with it. And since giving it over to someone else, and honestly, I didn't really want to give it to anyone else, because I thought, well, I can cope with this, you know, I'm going to get over this, you know, this is, why should I be any different, you know? So, but once I did give it over, I felt this amazing calmness, and from there, I've just been on a roll, really, with all sorts of things that I want to do. And at the moment, I'm sort of creating a course, sorting out, you know, a 2-day seminar here with Terry Rubenstein. And I have a few other things in the sort of, you know, in the pot that I'm stirring around at the moment and speaking to people about. So, and I got into such a place at one stage that I couldn't see that. I couldn't see anything. All I could see was a business and what you have to do in that business. So it wasn't free-flowing. It was work. It really was work. It was a business. It was work. And so, you know, again, you know, I really should have just opened my mouth and let you speak, Jacquie. You know, like one of those puppets, and then that might have been better. But so I'm going to, you know, say, you know, it's true. It's like playing. You know, it's the minute I realize the minute I look at something and I start to get really het up about it, and I start to think, oh my goodness, it's not working, what am I going to do? Then I don't see anything. I can't see anything. A good example was the other day I got really into, oh my goodness, I've only got 20 people for the seminar, and I've got a room for 100 people. What am I going to do? You know, it's going to look terrible. And then I sort of stood aside, for want of a better word. I got out of the way, and I realized that I don't know what's going to happen. And so what if there's only 20 people? That's how it's meant to be. And boom, more people started to ask me about it. So go figure. I don't know. I'm glad it's not up to me anyway.
I was just going to say something like that. It's like, yeah, thank goodness it isn't up to us in a way, isn't it? And being with it is the, well, you talked about the flow. I mean, that's what I was hearing, and what you were saying, flowing with what's happening versus going against it. Yeah. Really nice thing to see, isn't it?
Not sure about the tapas though.
What do you mean?
Well, I don't think there's anything like kosher tapas. I'm sorry.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Well, wait, are you saying this is not kosher? Is that what you're saying?
You said it.
Right, just for that, you can get the next question. I'm only joking. So the next one is, what has been of significant help to you in your understanding journey with regard to business?
You say that again, Sheila? I never quite got the intent behind it.
What's been of significant help to you on your understanding journey with regard to business?
That
I'm a human being. That life.
Really?
Yeah.
There you go. I'm going to say it. That's cool, isn't it?
That I'm a human being, and that life has all of these ups and downs and periods of contact that are going to, what might look like, destabilize me. But knowing how life really works just allows you to sort of to bounce back, or to see it more clearly, or not even to be impacted by it in the first place. So this understanding really, it gives you a certainty about how life works that no other self-help technique or strategy or blueprint has ever given me about my life, nor about my businesses. And I think that's what I love, Sheila, and seeing that every time that I start to look outside of myself to see how something should work, if I'm doing that from a place of seriousness and stress, I'm off balance. If I'm doing that from a place of curiosity, so that I can create what I want to from that new learning, then I'm in a good spot. And having the confidence and the certainty to walk away. And as Sue said, sort of seeing that you're in that place of striving versus thriving. And every time you come to that place and you feel that difference in your mind and your body, is being able to recognize it and listen for something else to come up, whether it is go and take a walk, put that away, shut off the computer, go have a conversation with someone. It's just living a more guided life in my business, rather than, oh, I work from 9 o'clock to 8 o'clock at night, therefore I have to achieve X, Y, and Z. It's, I will often go for a big long walk, and in that walk I get so much clarity about what it is I have to create. And Sue mentioned this earlier as well, is seeing that I'm more creative from that space. So if I'm creating sales copy, or I'm writing a proposal, or I'm even writing a newsletter or a blog, creating from that space is so much easier than striving to create something. So that's another benefit.
I love that.
So do I.
Love that.
Because you recognise it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's that simplicity in a way, isn't it? It's like I love what you said. It's not about sitting at your desk from 9 till 8 and having to achieve X, Y, and Z. It's much more, what I heard is, it's the space that you're coming from, or the space. That's because it's space within. It's a book, isn't it? The space within. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Thank you for that, Jackie. And like you said, we recognise that in some ways. So we love that. We love that. Yes,
it's truth, isn't it? It's truth.
Well, it's funny because, Jackie, when you were talking, I was just thinking, before you actually said the words, so, about working 9 till 8 or whatever it was, something like that popped into my head, and I thought, that's so funny, isn't it? Because when I looked at what I was doing as a business and work, and I had to work at it, then I was doing that. I was actually sitting there, and I wasn't giving myself any headspace at all, no break, because I thought, you got to focus. There's something wrong with you because you're not focused on it. Now there's such a lightness to it. you know, I sort of, and I felt much easier of even sort of committing to something. And I said to Sheila earlier, you know, that I want to sort of commit, and you know, I said I wanted to commit an hour a day, if possible, to my new course that I'm writing. And the interesting thing for me is that some days I haven't got around to it, to that hour, but it's sort of less horrible around it. You know, it doesn't feel so yuck. You know, it feels much lighter. And if you don't mind me going on for another minute or so, I just wanted to say that one of the things that I also came up for me was, honestly, I have found that I've been feeling very vulnerable. And for me, even saying that word felt like it was a big thing. You vulnerable, really? You know, how could you say that? You can't let people know that. But you know, feeling vulnerable for me, or being in a place where I'm vulnerable, and sort of opened me up to seeing something different. Opens me up, allows me to feel something different, to see the potential, and the potential doesn't lie in me needing and having to have a precise prescription of what I've got to do and how I've got to do it, and that means that there's an openness for something different to crop up at any moment, which I find is great fun. And it wasn't for, I think, you know, at least 3 to 4 months I was in quite an interesting place. And you know, it was really, when I was there, I was literally stopping myself from working. I was stopping myself. I couldn't continue. I didn't know what to do. I was looking behind my back all the time, Jackie, for that wisdom that you're talking about. I think actually I was sitting on mine. And as I have a wide girth, it was, you know, quite well sat on, I can tell you.
Thank goodness you got back in touch with it.
Well, it would have been lost under there, I can tell you.
Also, thank you for sharing that, because like you just said, I mean, vulnerability is something that I think most people don't want to go to. It's a place people don't want to go to. And, you know, just saying that out loud, like you've just said now, is sorry, thought I'd lost you then, is vulnerable in itself. That's really what I wanted to say. So thank you for sharing that. Appreciate it very much. So finally, just to wrap up, because we want to keep these brief, these tapas, it's really asking you what's fresh, what's new, what's at the cutting edge for each of you right now, right in this moment.
That I can do whatever I want. Actually, that I have potential to do. Seriously, I used to think that, you know, stuff that came in my head, well, I don't know, you know, could you really do that? Yeah, it's a great idea, you know. And it was funny because in particular in business, so it was something that I hadn't seen for myself in this area. I always thought it was about my husband, but anyway, it was, well, maybe it's him and the business, but anyway, but it was something that I was, you know, I guess I hadn't even, I hadn't even seen that the 3 principles works in business as well, you know. I mean, that's stupid, doesn't it? But I I want to be very open about it. That's the truth. I didn't see it. And so for me, it's really seeing that I really do have the potential. And it doesn't mean to say that I sometimes don't think, go on, girl, forget it, give it up, you're always there. Give it till the end of the year, eh, Jackie? Isn't that what I said last time? And if I don't make it by then, well, then I'm scooting out of here, So, so there are still times that happens, and still times, but I see through that very quickly now, or quicker than I did before. That's for sure. So yes, and I think it's what Jackie said, right? Near the beginning, was that wisdom flows through me. It's not somewhere. I'm not sitting on it. It's not behind my back. I don't have to wait for it and wait weeks sometimes, or I thought I had to. It's there the whole time. So less, everything seems so, for me, very fresh. Everything seems so less complicated. It's much easier. It's much more fun. That's today.
Mm-hmm. So we've got this moment in time, isn't it? That's it.
Oh yeah.
Well, this moment, I should even say.
Yes. No time.
No time. Thanks, Sue. That was beautiful.
I think for me, what's fresh in this moment is listening to Sue and recognising the limits that we put on ourselves, the rules that we create for ourselves that we think are very real, and they help shape the way that we live our lives. Now, sometimes these rules that we create are there to help guide us, to keep us safe. But most of the time, these rules limit our very existence, our very being. And sort of when Sue spoke about vulnerability, to me, vulnerability is a strength. It's a beautiful strength, because there are very few human beings on this planet who are willing to go to that place of vulnerability and be as they truly are. Our innate being, who we are at our core, is vulnerability, it's honesty, it's love, it's kindness, it's all of these things that the invisible rules and regulations that the media, society, and ourselves and our parents have conditioned us to think is the safest way to be. And for me, this understanding is a subtraction, an undoing of everything that I've learned. Everything I've learned about life, everything I've learned about business, because it teaches us we are far more than we think we are, if only we can see beyond the veil of the rules that we create. And that's why there is no separation between life and business, life and play, life and love. It's just one great big experience. And for people to listen to this and to come along to the Viva event and to get a taste of that from the speakers that you've got coming along, to see that when we live life, truly live life, without all of these preconditioned ideas or rules or regulations, we live a life that is more guided by our own innate well-being and our own innate wisdom, but we also live a life that's more playful, it's happier, and the well-being that we experience just keeps improving and improving. And when you're in that lovely state of very, very, very high well-being, you can't help but be successful at anything that you put your hand to.
I like that a lot. I love what the falling away and the subtraction is what caught my attention. I think that's, and the business, I've seen that for myself, Jackie, thank you. It's the business and life is not separate. There is no separation. I mean, that's the thing. And yet we keep falling it. Well, on some level, we have these topics, these things to talk about, these labels. I'm Sheila, you're Sue, you're Jackie, this life that we live, on some level, we function that way, don't we? Or we've chosen to function that way for now. Well, thank you, ladies. I love what you've said. So much of what you've said today. It's been really a pleasure to spend time with you and have this little get together and create a taster for people who would like to come to Viva. So more information about these lovely ladies on our website, on the speakers page, and you can find that there's at thevivaevent.com. That's all for now, folks. See
Thank
you
you.
soon.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.